Hey guys, welcome to Double Shot of Steelers. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. Tomorrow night brings the first and only home preseason game for the Steelers. That'll be at 7 p.m. against the Buccaneers. Those two teams also squared off in arguably a more meaningful joint practice yesterday. And when I say more meaningful, I mean that everybody used their guys. You know, there wasn't any of this holding people out, never mind holding out 19 of them. The joint practice yesterday came with its pluses and it came with its minuses. The players coming off the field would attest to all of that. There were some things that they liked. There were some things that they didn't like. I'm going to tell you today one thing that I didn't like, and because I didn't like it, I actually liked it, meaning I'm glad it happened. And that is that the defense got served a bit. Okay? You want to call it humble pie, you can come up with whatever phrasing you want for this. But the defense, which has been seeing, hearing, and reading nothing other than lavish praise, and including from this direction for the past 3 weeks, got to face Baker Mayfield at some of his sharpest, got to face Mike Evans, who still got it. I mean, I know he's been around a while, but Evans, there was nobody he wasn't beating from the Tampa Bay perspective. And this idea, this concept that Mike Tomlin's had, that we've got our 3 coverage guys and they don't need no help and whatever else here. And it's not going to be easy. Okay. It's not going to be as simple as it sounds. If there were teams, if there were players who were capable of island coverage on a consistent basis, you'd be seeing a completely different sport every Sunday. You'd see the elimination of the safety position. You'd see the elimination of linebackers in coverage. You would just see nothing but coverage people. What's more, before this joint practice yesterday, Tomlin said openly that whoever the other team's top receiver happens to be, that individual is going to get covered by Jalen Ramsey. Again, sounds good, sounds tough, sounds like, wow, we've really got something here. We only need one guy to do this, and all the rest of the guys can just do their jobs. Except that it had better work. And I'm here to tell you that it didn't on this day. And you can come up with all kinds of different stuff here. Craig says, wouldn't they have been mostly playing zone with no real pass rush? Sure. You could do contingencies on both sides of the ball. Everything's vanilla, everything's this and that. But when you come down to coverage people, and if you boil down football, and remember, this is the choice that Tomlin and Terrell Austin are making, to the simplest possible concept, and that is, I'm here, you're there, I'm going to cover you, then you got to at least do that much. And it did not play out that way yesterday. And I hope that you don't see or sense from this team that they're going to be, look at us, we're so awesome, we're so great, and we're not going to adjust now because we've got coverage people and we have big names and we have Jalen Ramsey and we have Darius Slay and everything else. What's up? Oh, hey, how are you guys? Come on in. What's your name? Eugene, come on in. Come on. We got room. You just called her your lady? Yeah. You did not give her a name?
My name is Yami Swain, but
Whoa. Say it again.
Yami Swain.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now I'm glad I asked. I didn't need your driver's license. I don't believe you. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, I have a radio show in the Bahamas called Mix 102.1 FM, and he actually has a youth football program in the Bahamas.
That's awesome. Now you guys are Steelers fans?
Yeah.
Yes.
Come a little bit closer so they can see you down here. See that? Okay.
Hi guys.
Now what kind of radio show do you do?
I do a live broadcast radio show. So it's broadcast daily, consistently, and I have my radio show Wednesday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 3.
So you're introducing music and so forth?
Yeah, it's
So
a music
not
radio show.
It's not like just reggae.
No.
Okay.
Because reggae culture is in Bahamian culture.
Yes.
Bahamian cultural music is called Reagan Straight.
Yeah, Reagan
Yeah.
Straight.
But we're a hip hop station, so we actually
We
play
just
a lot
had
of
Marley's
hip-hop.
kid performing across the river here last
yeah?
week. So that's why
Yeah.
I
But we
can't-
play
what's
a
his
wide
first name?
genre.
Marley's not
Damien?
no, it's a
There's
different
a-
Marley.
There's a lot of Marleys.
They'll put it up here on the comments. Well, I appreciate you guys.
Thank
It's
you.
nice seeing you.
Getting our
Thank you.
Steelers
Uh-huh.
getting
I'll
our
tell you
terrible
what
time.
Yeah, welcome to Pittsburgh. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty cool. I was not carding them. He just pulled out the thing voluntarily. I have nothing to do with that. But yeah, that's the first in-person guest that we've had from the Bahamas. That's a new one on me. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Chris Halleck to further dissect this defense and whether or not it did, in fact, get dissected the way it might have appeared or sounded in that joint practice.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
No, it's not Ziggy Marley either. Let's bring Chris in here. Chris, you know how to do that, right? You can bring yourself in. No, that's not it.
Somehow I got it.
You do? Okay. And now I'm back. There you are. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
Ziggy. I don't think it's Bill. I just can't remember the name right now. But it was a different
Bob Marley?
Marley. It wasn't Bob Marley. He's long since gone.
Well, I thought that was the original reference.
Oh yeah, no. I'm talking about there's like a relative of his that tours now and does
okay.
some but yeah, there's that's still pretty cool. How come you don't have any radio experience in the Bahamas, Halleck?
Well, I've been to the Bahamas one time in my life, and
That's one more than me.
I was about 10 years old. I went parasailing in the Bahamas. That was a lot of fun.
Wow.
I think that's actually, not to get too personal or anything, but I think that's actually the moment that I hit puberty.
I don't want to know what that meant.
I was parasailing, and me and my brother were parasailing, and there was a boatload of girls that were all waving at us because, when somebody's parasailing, you're like, hey, there are those people way up high in the air. And there's a whole boatload of girls, and I just looked, I was like, I think I kind of like that now.
Okay, then. Stephen Marley is the name. That actually rings a
There
bell.
we go.
Yeah, although there's been others. There's been Ziggy. There's been others. I think Ziggy actually had a hit, a reggae thing. Denny says that the Steelers will soon be playing a game in the Bahamas. They will not. They will not. They're going for the bigger markets.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about this. Since we're in the one day in between the two times the Steelers and Buccaneers will meet here. Any feelings about the defensive showing yesterday? You and I were in that one end zone and we were watching it happen. And we're not allowed to talk about it, but we were watching it happen, this thing that didn't happen. And
Okay. I got one thing to say. I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to put it up on the screen.
Oh, look at that. He comes at us with Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Okay.
Relax, everyone. Listen, last year, the Bills and Steelers had a joint practice on the same field at the same part of the North Shore, right at Acrisure Stadium. And the Bills looked terrible in that practice. I mean, they did not. The Steelers won in a lot of ways in that practice, more so than the Buccaneers won against the Steelers yesterday when we're talking about who executed 2-minute drills, who didn't execute 2-minute drills. That stuff I can actually say because players confirmed it. The Bills ended up just fine. It's one practice.
Bills were okay.
They were just fine. But if you were to just look in a vacuum at that one practice and be like, well, this Bills team might not even if they make the playoffs, they might not even win a playoff game. They were just fine. It's a preseason practice in mid-August. It's everybody relax. Like, seriously, like some of the stuff comes out, and I saw some of the stuff coming from the Tampa Bay side on the reporting side. I'm not going to tell those guys how to do their jobs, but man,
I think the Buccaneers did, judging by how quickly they were all deleted.
yeah,
But that's another story for another day.
yeah.
The Dumpster Chickens comes in and points out that almost all of Bob Marley's kids have had some kind of musical career. Ziggy was the one that like I said, he actually had a hit. The rest of the Marleys, I have no idea. I think if you're reggae and you just have the Marley name, like they're just going to come see you.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's what happened. It was over actually right by Acrisure Stadium at Stage AE.
Okay.
Just last week here. It's not Ziggy Hood. It's not Ziggy Hood, you guys. You guys are ridiculous.
That one got me. That's good.
You were waiting on it. There's only so many Ziggy jokes you can make, and
Seriously,
that's definitely one of them here.
You're talking to nothing but Steelers fans. That's the first Ziggy they think of.
Florida Dave says, "Happy Friday. I got out of work on time just to post this and join in. We appreciate having you." Dave, is that an OBJ that I see at the end? What is that thing at the end of your? Is that what that looks like?
I have no idea.
Doesn't that little symbol look like it has OBJ inside it?
Maybe.
Wow, he doesn't want OBJ, does he? Dude said 9 catches last year in 9 games. I'm not interested in any of that. You know?
I think if the Steelers were interested, like really interested, that would have been done by now. But who knows? It wouldn't be the first time they surprised us.
Yeah, but that one would not necessarily be a surprise for the better. Chris, when I think of things that could make a difference between whether what we saw yesterday with the coverage or didn't see or might have seen with the coverage, I think of the defense as a whole and the way it's supposed to work together. Somebody already earlier in the chat said, okay, well, there was no pass rush. There's no nothing. Well, I mean, a lot of this was 7-on-7. So, of course, there wasn't going to be a pass rush.
Yeah.
But this defense at some point needs to come all the way together. And I would hope that the one area that we can agree upon, all of us, is that even though the secondary and the notions that I was talking about in the intro today are tantalizing, they're not exciting, they're electrifying. This idea of having these 3 coverage people, and even Tomlin setting it up like it's an episode of Survivor where Jalen Ramsey's always going to be on the other team's top guy. I didn't ask the other guys, they can't complain about it. It was like all kinds of like, what? You know, now I think you need to start seeing pieces of what's up front come together. And I don't mean tomorrow night. Okay, it's going to be Jack Sawyer and you know, you're going to see Derek Harmon. You're going to see at least some of Y.A. Black. But more than anything, between now and the 7th of September, I'd like to see more signs of the defensive dominance up front, not in a theoretical way. And that, of course, does mean, yeah, Cam's got to sign.
Yeah.
Or figure this out in one form or another. Okay. But you got to have your TJs and your Alexes and your Herbigs and yes, Harmon needs to step up. Harmon told me that this week in Latrobe. He felt there were things that happened in Jacksonville that he can learn from, that he will learn from. But there's another level for those guys. And that, Chris, that's going to define this defense way more than Jalen on some dude.
Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about it even like one time being in training camp, and one of the times that TJ Watt, spoke with the media, it was right there in that scrum, and I asked him the question about, getting back to the quarterback more often, and I said, listen, the pass rush and the coverage go hand in hand. If the coverage can't lock down, or can't keep guys covered for long enough, we don't stand a chance of getting to the quarterback. If the quarterback can get rid of the ball in a second and a half, it doesn't matter. There's no chance for us to get back there. So we have to be able to play coverages that allow the pass rush to get to the quarterback. But then also at the same time, whenever the man coverage or whatever kind of coverage you have gives the pass rush 3.5 seconds to get back there, they better get home. The coverage does its job. The pass rush has to do its job, and vice versa. So they both complement each other, and one will suffer without the other. So yes, the defensive front has to be able to do its job. When these coverage people that we're talking about are able to lock down the majority of the time, able to lock down, just about any other team, or at least match up against any other team. They don't have to, keep these guys to 3 catches for 19 yards in a game. If Jalen Ramsey goes up against Jamar Chase, for example, and Jamar Chase finishes the game with 4 catches for 79 yards and a touchdown, on the box score, you might be like, oh, that wasn't very good. But what if the one touchdown was like one really big play that was given up, like a 50-yarder? And then for the rest of the game, it's 3 catches for 29 yards. It's
right.
Nothing.
No.
And then
I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like you can live with that kind of stuff as long as the defense more consistently, first off, you don't give up too many of those big plays, and then you more consistently force Joe Burrow to either be sacked or to make bad throws on third down and keep the Bengals from actually getting out of the end zone. And that's the whole name of the game there.
Nathan asks, how much do you think the starting offensive line plays tomorrow? Would it be similar to last week? I have a feeling that you're going to see a lot of things be similar to last week in Jacksonville, just beginning with the fact, and it's a known fact, that the same people who were rested in that game, plus Herbig, will be rested in this one. So the O-line, I think they could use a little bit of time here. Mason McCormick coming off the field yesterday, and I grabbed him for a second, not a formal interview or anything. Because he's such a truth teller, I just wanted him to share with me, his vibe right now on the line. And he said a couple of things. He got a little bit specific, mentioned. I mean, they're going to focus on the positive. I mean, it's human nature, right? But we got done, and he's walking back toward the tunnel, and he turns around and he goes, "Hey, we're getting better."
Yeah.
And you can actually picture Mason with his personality saying that, right? This is Mason McCormick, by the way, that I'm talking about, not Rudolph.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. I appreciated that extra effort that he made to send that message, because he's going to tell you, hey, we just stink right now. We really, and he didn't do that. He didn't do that. Now, are they getting a sufficient push on the run plays? It's hard to tell. We've seen it at times. We've seen it in Latrobe at times. But I have a feeling that a lot of what happened in Jacksonville is what's permeated most of our brains when it comes to this specific subject, because in Jacksonville, the second team offensive line came out there and just got handled.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's when you saw Caleb Johnson getting thrown for 3-yard losses and stuff. It was when those guys came out there. So is this going to be a really good test? A really good test, including for fans in the stands, to watch this line. Those of you who are real football people, watch this line. That's going to be your line out there, except for Isaac Seumalo. Watch these guys and see what they've got. See how they hold. Not hold literally. Not flag.
No, I do think it's going to be similar to last week. They may play an extra series. They may play 3 instead of 2. But I think that's the absolute max you'll see. The main reason why is, well, you want to keep them healthy. You don't want to have to be dipping your, digging too far into the depth bag in order to keep the offensive line, functioning and keep going and be able to have 5 guys dressed that are actually worthy of getting a helmet on Sundays. That being said, I do think Saturday is going to be a pretty good test. Todd Bowles, the head coach of the Buccaneers, did say that outside of I think Mike Evans and Levante David, that the starters are going to play. That means they're going to see Kalijah Cansey. That means they're going to see several of the other ones on the other side, and so they will get a test. I do think the starting offensive line looked pretty good. Yeah, in Jacksonville, they played 2 series. Fautanu had the 1 penalty, but also think about it in terms of run blocking. They didn't really do that much in terms of run blocking because they threw a lot. They came out throwing in that opening series and went down the field and scored a touchdown. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's going to be another really interesting game, and that's honestly probably going to be the position. By the way, the Troy Fautanu Chalk Talk is dropping right after the show is over. So I'm excited to see what guys like Fautanu and Broderick both do in this second preseason game.
I feel like this is a fair question, even though it's the middle of August. Jonathan Sokol asks, and I like the way he words this because it's also fair. Is Caleb Johnson behind where you thought he might be? And that's not burying the kid. That's not saying he's going to be a failure or anything like that. He's asking if he's behind right now on the 15th of August where we thought he'd be. I'm going to answer that one for you before I send it to Chris. And I have no idea how Chris feels about this. Yes. Okay. And here's why. When you draft someone like that and you hear all these great things and you see how excited they were, and it's the running back position where you can most reasonably parachute in from the sky and just begin playing your natural way of playing. It's not learning quantum physics. And when you see the hesitation that Caleb has shown, that runs counter to everything we've seen from him on film, that we've known about him, and that we saw, for that matter, this summer in the rookie camp, the mini camp, the everything. Okay. He's not being his own best self yet. And that's why Tomlin's message for him after Jacksonville, as we've reported, was to basically, kid, chill, lighten up. Okay. Yeah. Those are holes. You see those holes? Run through them. Okay. I think a lot of you have seen the all 22 film.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned it.
Okay. Because there's a clip of Caleb, and there's the Red Sea parting in front of him off to the left, and you see his body language is running to the right, and it looks terrible, but it also runs counter, no pun intended, to everything he's ever done. So I will be fascinated to see how this young man performs tomorrow. What do you say, Chris?
Spoiler alert for Chalk Talk coming up, because that play is in the Chalk Talk, even though it is a Troy Fautanu. I had to go on a little side rant, and I literally brought up the same exact screenshot. Now, if you actually watch the play, and this is why you don't just watch screenshots or look at a screenshot and think, oh my gosh, he read the wrong hole. If he would have gone up that hole, he would have gained 5 less yards, at least, because it looks like the linebacker on the left side is blocked up. He is not. Spencer Anderson did not get there. That linebacker was free, and that linebacker was about to fill that hole in faster than you can say Caleb Johnson.
Spence was the one who hit the freeze frame. I'm betting on that shot, though. Look at how I sealed this guy.
Just saying, like you watch that go through. If you fast forward that play about a tenth of a second, it looks a lot different. And that linebacker fills that hole really quick. He bounces it to the outside and gets up to the 50. He might have gotten to the 45 if he would have gone up that hole. So he actually got a better run than what it looked like based off that freeze frame. But the question I wanted to pose with this was, you were around the team in 2013. I was not, obviously. I was living in Dallas. Where was Le'Veon Bell at this time as a rookie coming in?
He was a football god.
Okay. Okay. I don't
know what do you want me to say?
No.
No, here's what Lev was.
Okay.
Actually, I was trying to be silly there. What Lev is he was one of those players who was always going to need the rest of the team to adjust to him as opposed to vice versa. Okay. Because of his running style, because of what the Steelers knew him to be in college. And everybody accepted that. And, Ramon Foster will tell you this. We saw what Lev was doing, and we knew we needed to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that was going to take time. It's not that Lev needed the extra time. It's that everybody needed to figure out what the heck was going on. Secondly, Lev needed to adjust, and the Steelers needed to adjust to his pass catch. His pass catching was, he was good at it in college. He became elite at it in the NFL. So he grew. So if there was an area where he grew, it's that. So, somebody else brings up here where the comparables are concerned. They bring up Rashard Mendenhall. I keep bringing up Rashard every time I even look at Caleb. And I keep getting shot down. I'm going to end up being right on this one. He still looks like Rashard to me. His running style, even his build, his lean forward, the way he gets into the hole, the way he'll get those extra yards falling forward, that looks like Rashard to me. But we'll see where it goes.
Well, the reason why I ask that is I remember from afar, I remember there being excitement over Bell, even heading into his rookie season. I also don't remember people proclaiming him to be this all-pro or Pro Bowl or like something way over the top either.
Yeah, he was a second rounder, and there was another running back. Who was it that went to Green Bay? That a lot of people wanted. Eddie Lacy, that everybody thought was going to be better than Lev, and the Lev, of course, ended up being way better than Eddie Lacy. But so there was a different sentiment at the time. It felt like the Steelers got second best, and they didn't. Right,
and so with this particular pick, there's been a lot of excitement from the second he was drafted, and for good reason. The Steelers really wanted him. He was one of the yellow helmets are classic, but he was the excitement's been there since day one. And when that excitement builds throughout the offseason, when there's nothing to possibly kind of help but deflate it a little bit, that excitement just grows and grows and grows, and it grows on its own. And then the first time you see the guy, if he doesn't meet those high expectations, everybody's like, oh my gosh, is this dude a bust? Is this dude some sort of again, it doesn't have to be like that. This dude is still young. This dude is still growing. He's still he hasn't taken his first actual NFL snap yet. So let's see how things go. There's a reason why the Steelers aren't going into the season with him as the undoubted number one guy.
They're not. Remember that too. Arian Foster is another name that's come up quite a bit, and I can see some of that as well. Listen, I'll be happy to take Rashard Mendenhall or Arian Foster.
If Caleb Johnson turns into Rashard Mendenhall and actually has with a longer career, that's a heck of a third-round pick. Rashard Mendenhall gets a bad rap because of what happened in the Super Bowl. He was a good running back.
Now, Mike asks if the Steelers are wearing the yellow helmets in the preseason game. They're not, but mine just came in the mail, and I'm putting it out here. I'm not waiting on it. I walked past all you people in Latrobe who were hanging over the little fencing there, the cloth fencing,
the divider,
and I saw all these yellow helmets like this, and finally I stopped. It was one afternoon. I walked over there and said, "Where did you get these?" And they're like, "Well, back here at the merch shop." And I was like, I'm just going to order one. I have to have a yellow helmet for the show. So it just came yesterday. They're wearing it at some point in the season, right? They're wearing it with the faux backs.
Yes, they are. That is the Packers game, I think.
Oh, so they're going to look like the Packers when the Packers are here?
Well, no, because the Packers wear green jerseys.
I'm talking about the helmets.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be gold helmet versus gold helmet.
That's not sure that's such a great idea.
Well, that's when they're wearing them. Gold helmets, gold jerseys, and beige pants against gold helmets, white jerseys, and green pants, or gold pants, actually. So
Yeah, no, but it is a nice helmet though. You
It is a
know,
nice
I think we'd agree on that. It's pretty sharp. I heard some people ripping on it. It's like, come on,
I
man.
liked. I
Lighten up.
kind of wish they would have brought back the '60s throwback that had the gold helmet. Pretty much the color rush jersey that they've been wearing with the white pants. That was actually probably one of my favorite.
Yeah. Nakia finds a great, easy way to make sure that your question gets asked on the program. She says, DK, you mentioned on your app the teams will commit. See that? Will commit a lot of penalties against the other DK and Darnell Washington. Is this good or bad? And then she says, by the way, the app is great.
That'll get you on every time.
That's such a natural segue to pointing out that under Chris's smiling face over there, you'll see how to get our app. And that's our app. It's not YouTube. It's not Spotify. It's not anything else. It's our app, DK Pittsburgh Sports. Go to dkps.net/Apple, dkps.net/Android. What's that?
These guys' day job.
Yeah, it's our day job. It's what we actually do for a living. And she says that the app is great. And before I get to her question, Robert comes in, $29.99. I'll pass. We don't even have a $29.99 price point. And if you email me after you get the app,
and it's for a year.
If you email, can you put our email address or my email address, please, on the screen? Here, I'll see if I can get. Here, I got it real fast here. Here's my email address right under Robert's grunt there on the screen. Come on, that's
Does Robert work for free though?
No, Robert. We can ask Robert if he works for free. We can do that because if so, we're hiring you, man. I got a baseball team you can cover. That's my email address. If you email me after you download the app. Right there. I promise you, I will get back to you with a discount that you will not say no to be in on this app. And even if you grunt like Robert does.
Like
Nakia, to your question. Go ahead.
I would say I had live queues on the site on the app today.
Only for paying subscribers. Yep.
Yeah, only for paying subscribers. So that's the app is free. You can see all of our work there, but then you can also ask me questions once a week. You know, we have obviously Taylor Haas covers the Penguins, Jose Negron covers the Pirates, and DK does it once a week too. You can talk to us, ask us questions. It's a lot of fun on there, man.
Nakia asks to finally get to her question. The teams will commit a lot of penalties against the other DK and Darnell Washington. Is that good or bad? It's very good, Nakia. It's a very, very good thing, except for one time yesterday when it wasn't good. Oh. Okay. And I can report on that since I spoke with Metcalf afterward and he described everything for me. But he was basically tackled in the end zone. It was going to be a touchdown from Rodgers and everybody. There was like about, I don't know who those people were. They had some special privileges to come in and watch from the public, but they were all going to burst out into cheers. And he got brought down. And in the process, dude lands on his ankle. Mm. And now, good for him. He got up and shook it off and went back, and he missed maybe one set of doubts. Excuse me.
Yeah, he didn't. He wasn't out long. He just got checked out.
You want DPI flags, Nakia. You want that Joe Flacco component into your offense.
Well, listen, not even the Joe Flacco offense, but also when you're down near the goal line and you run a fade to Darnell Washington, and he just is either going to catch it because he's 8 feet taller than the corner, or the corner has nothing to do other than ride him like Yoda riding Luke Skywalker's back in Empire. And then you get the DPI flag, you get first and goal on the 1 yard line. You'll take that every single time. So yes, like it's absolutely a good thing that those guys are going to draw flags.
Tony Marchand says, I love this show. I'm happy to be here from across the country. We got people from all over, Tony. I mean, the two guests that came in here from Bahamas, and then somebody puts up here, hey, I'm watching from Bahamas. It's been a lot of fun watching this thing expand the way that it has, and we appreciate those of you who pass along the word, because that still happens to be the best way to advertise anything in life. Jay Moods says, didn't the offense win 6 out of 7 shots against the Tampa Bay defense? That's good to hear. Pat Fryermuth confirmed it. And as such, we can report it. Yes, they went 6-1 on 7 shots, and they actually did pretty well using all 3 quarterbacks, using a lot of different targets. They did well, didn't they, Chris?
Yes, they did. Can't get into any of the details of the 7 shots, but yes, they won 6-1, and it looked really, really, really good, really efficient. Yes, it was. You would have been very excited to see that as a fan. I'll put it that way.
William asks, could YA Black be the next Stephon Tuitt, or is it a little too tall of a task? First off, there's nothing too tall for YA Black. Okay. He looks down on Darnell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they at least see eye to eye.
It sounded good. Can he be the
really
next Tuitt?
large human being?
I don't want to assign the Tuitt bar to anybody.
No.
Steph ended up becoming a truly special defensive lineman in this league.
Yeah.
And he's missed on more levels than one, by the way. And the Steelers, I mean, the defense was never the same.
No.
Was even with Cam continuing to perform, at a literal all-pro level, not symbolically. Cam was an all-pro
last year.
Just now in his mid-30s. Steph and Cam, what they could do together up front. I know that's what the Steelers are envisioning when they draft Derek Harmon. And I know that Harmon himself wants that to be the case. Harmon expects himself to be, as he was telling me the other day in Latrobe, he's measuring his performance. Yes, there's certain things that he did well in the second half in Jacksonville. He had more of a push. He was more disruptive in general. That's not enough for him. He wants plays. And what they're expecting from him is plays. And what Carl Dunbar is admonishing him to create are plays. Same thing they're doing with Keanu Benton. It's just not going to be instant. I know they anointed him, okay, starting left defensive end here, but if you want something else to watch tomorrow night that means something, instead of getting all caught up in who the fourth quarter running back is or whether or not Skylar Thompson can be retained on the practice squad, the stuff that really matters is going to be in the trenches tomorrow night.
Yeah, I got to give Mario a shout out here. This is a heck of a comment. It says YA equals I am who I am. Now, for those who understand, for those who understand like Christian like teachings and stuff like that, the name for God is literally Yahweh, like in like old Hebrew scripture, which is spelled YAHY or WEH, I think. So it looks really similar, and it literally translates to I am who I am. So that's like legit, like that's a legit comment. That's like some serious knowledge right there. Anyway, listen, YA is doing a lot of really great things, like really, really great things. He can't be moved in run defense. He's batting down passes left and right.
He can't be moved is such a solid check mark on your scouting report.
And but I'm just look at what shoot, even just the 12 plays that he played in Jacksonville. Look at what he did. Now he did at the very last day of training camp. He did not practice because he had a gigantic wrap on his right elbow or right upper arm / elbow area. I don't know if it was what exactly it was, but we will see if that's anything that lingers. But the one thing that I would say about YA and to kind of cool the Jets on this one a little bit is that he has to do something in terms of like anything with a pass rush in order to really become anything close to Stephon Tuitt. And right now, the pass rush stuff, other than being able to put up those 35-inch arms and bat down passes,
which he can, and
he can. But right now, there's been almost nothing in terms of being able to win pass rush reps and get to the quarterback consistently. If he can never develop that, we're talking about a potential All-Pro, because the run defense and the swatting passes down, that's already showing up way more than I think anybody thought.
A great point here. Not a good one. A great one from John Herman says it was humorous the way Black moved the center and guard out of the way to tackle the runner. If those of you who have not seen that clip,
Yeah.
that's one of those plays where if you're the head coach and it's a preseason game, you go, get him out of there. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
I have seen enough. Anybody who's asking why Black only played a dozen snaps, that's the answer. That's going, I have seen enough. Bubble wrap. Who's got the bubble wrap? Let's go. It is, I am not, and I believe with all my heart that they are not ruling out an active and significant role for him in that defense. They are going to value being stout, or what was your scouting report again, Chris? He cannot be moved.
He cannot be
They're
moved.
going to value that a lot because they have a lot of other parts that they can utilize around him if he, in fact, cannot be moved. That is a heck of a thing. Now, this not to say he's going to leapfrog Harmon on the depth chart or anything like that. Harmon's going to play. Just what was it? What was it like? Relax.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Hold on. Get the sign again. There we go.
He's got the sign.
Relax.
You need the Frankie Goes to Hollywood shirt. Let's see here. That was the Frankie Say Relax.
Yeah.
Mark Cunningham says Black is old school, it appears. I mean, I don't know what that means. That there are any number of guys that you've seen like that do things like that. Calais Campbell's the one that jumps out for me.
Yeah.
Where you just go, okay, that guy, we're not budging. He's not going anywhere. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out something else because that is the equivalent of putting a telephone pole in our way. You know, so, but yeah, everybody needs to get everybody from the defensive line needs to get it together to swing back to what we were talking about at the beginning here for this defense to be able to do its things, and that things being plural. You're going to have to get after the quarterback. You're going to have to be multifaceted. You're going to have to be able to bite in there. You're going to have to get sacks, lots of pressures, lots of quarterbacks hits, but this ain't Cleveland. You got to get sacks here.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to bring the quarterback down. You got to knock the ball out of his hand. You got to do that stuff. You got to make your coverage people to some extent moot. Yeah, that's your dream scenario. You want for me and Chris to be going through that locker room afterward and asking the coverage people how their night was, and they go, "I don't know, man. They never got the ball out."
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like you just hope those coverage people just keep everybody covered long enough so that it doesn't matter because TJ Watt or Cam Hayward or Alex Highsmith or somebody else got back there. I do think the one thing that you're going to see, and I've been saying this all along, and this is again another reason why I'm saying relax. And Mika Egbuka, receiver for the Buccaneers, said the Steelers ran a lot of zone yesterday. They're not going to run a lot of zone during the season.
No, they are not. I
can tell you that right now. So that just again goes to show, it's very, very possible Todd Bowles, when he and Mike Tomlin were working this out, we're just like, hey, Mike,
show us some zone, man.
Yeah, I really need our offense to look at a lot of zone defense. Do you mind doing that? And then Mike could have said yes, as long as you do this for our offense or whatever. They always try to arrange this kind of stuff. They're not going to run a lot of zone. They're going to be running a lot of man coverage. They might be top 5, top 3 in the league in man coverage with what they have on defense. That means you're also going to see more blitzes. A lot more cover one means a lot more 5-man rushes, 6-man rushes. You're going to see a lot more blitzes. That's going to give the opportunity, give the Steelers the opportunity to get to the quarterback more often. And even when they don't get to the quarterback, yes, those pressures can still have an impact. You still want to rack up a bunch of sacks, but the pressures can force quarterbacks to make bad throws. It can force quarterbacks to, have to throw the ball away on third down. Now you're making them punt it. You get the ball back, whatever it is. It's got to go hand in hand. And yesterday's practice is not going to be an indicator of that. It's just not.
2 more questions today. Sebastian Sanchez asks, could we potentially see a glimpse of Will Howard play a series or 2 next Thursday in Charlotte? My answer to that is it's possible, my answer to that further is he'd better be honest with everybody about how the hand feels. It can't, now hands are tough to lie about because you can do, x-rays and MRIs and stuff to see how it is.
Sometimes you can just look at it.
And sometimes you can just see, hey, that thing is still swollen. We're not letting you out there, kid.
And it was swollen on Saturday. I can say that definitively because I saw it in the locker room.
I understand that he's eager and justifiably so, not just because of his personality, but because he's not going to get any other snaps. This is it for him.
Yeah.
So but I also know that I don't think it would benefit him a whole heck of a lot to go out there in the third or fourth quarter of these kinds of games and then not be able to throw the football. This isn't his non-throwing hand here, my friends. This is this one. Okay.
Yeah. This is not the Jordan Love injury. Yeah.
So he's got it. If he's off with that, he's not helping himself. He's not helping his film. He's not helping anything here. So I would say no to that one. I would also say that our last question for the day comes from Richard Hunt. I'm going to throw it to Chris, who says this has to be the Steelers' best defense since 2008, right?
Well, I would make a serious argument for the 2010 defense being the best defense since the 2008 defense. It has the potential to be the best defense since that era, for sure. When you look at what they have up front in Watt and Hayward and Highsmith, and then some rookies coming in, Derek Harmon, Keanu Benton, year 3, Y.A. Black's looking really good. With what they have at linebacker, second team All-Pro Patrick Queen and Peyton Wilson going into year 2 and looking really good going into year 2 right now. And then obviously with cornerback hasn't been this strong since at least when the team had Rod Woodson. You might have to go back to even Mel Blount for the entire position. Like,
my answers here are getting echoed already in the chat, so I'll just put them up instead. Jay Mood says on paper, maybe. Maybe. These are you're looking at names on paper. You've got to see performance, and you've got to see performance relative to age. Mike says, let's get a game or two in the books. Mr. CJ says they need to play before making that call. I am nowhere near this mindset. I could be, talk to me in December.
Well, that's why I said it has the potential too.
It has potential. Potential. It has all kinds of potential, but it also has things that we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. I know 2008 was a proven thing. 2010, they got rings for it. Okay. There's a long way to go before we get into that kind of stuff. Guys, we will have both a pregame and a postgame show tomorrow, as we did from Jacksonville. Only we'll be on location in a much better city and in a much better place in general.
No joke.
And we'll be we'll be just as eager as we were back then to entertain with pretty backdrops and all that other stuff. One last reminder to make sure that you're going over there and getting the app. Get the app. I'm talking about making T-shirts that say "Get the app," kind of like the Frankie Say Relax thing. Just get the app
real quick with a big gigantic arrow pointing down.
That's it. You have one? DKPS.net/Apple. If you have an Apple phone, DKPS.net/Android. You don't get it's free to download it. Okay. To use it if you can put up with the ads and other stuff like that, and you don't care about all of our great perks and all that other stuff that the subscribers get. But I'm going to say this again. Where's my email address? Is it still around? We're going to put that up here. I want to hear from you. This is my actual email address here. I'm not sending you to some robot or whatever. This is putting it up here. Show. That's it. Email me only after you download the app on your device here, and I will get you in at a price that you will not say no to. Okay, so let's get that done. And anyway, we do our thing tomorrow. Pittsburgh versus Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Yep. See you guys then.